Hello friends, I welcomes you all to my mechanical engineering make easy channel and ये मेरा सेकंड लेक्चर है फ्लूइड मैकेनिक्स का। सो मैं आप सभी को इस लेक्चर में वेलकम करता हूँ। और जो आज का मेरा कंटेंट है उसमें मैं टाइप्स ऑफ फ्लूइड, सरफेस टेंशन एंड कैपिलरिटी, ये 3 टाइप्स के ऊपर आज मेरा लेक्चर है। ओके, सो आई विल स्टार्ट नाउ बिकॉज वीडियो ज़्यादा लंबा होने से फिर और दिक्कत होती है। सो टाइप्स ऑफ फ्लूइड, टाइप्स ऑफ फ्लूइड, जैसे कि आपको पता है न्यूटन्स लॉ ऑफ विस्कोसिटी क्या है कि टाउ इक्वल टू म्यू डी यू बाई डी वाई। सो ये इक्वेशन के ऊपर से कुछ टाइप्स ऑफ फ्लूइड बनते हैं और अगर हम इसको रेस टू एन कर दें, ओके, तो फिर उसके ऊपर से इतने सब टाइप्स बनते हैं फ्लूइड के। सो सबसे पहला फ्लूइड है न्यूटोनियन फ्लूइड। ओके, न्यूटोनियन फ्लूइड मीन्स दैट न्यूटोनियन फ्लूइड विल satisfy this equation as it is, means the n will be equal to 1, n will equal to 1 and all the equation is same for this kind of fluid. This kind of fluid will satisfy all the conditions of Newton's law of viscosity. Okay, this is called as Newtonian fluid. Then again we have two fluids, one is pseudoplastic fluid and second is dilatant fluid. In case of pseudoplastic fluid, what happens that n is less than 1. This is only the difference between Newtonian fluid and pseudoplastic fluid. The n value will be less than 1. Then the graph will be likewise, means as du by dy increases, the shear stress also increases, but that increases in such a manner because of n is less than 1. Okay, so we will move towards next, that is nothing but dilatant fluid. For dilatant fluid, the n is greater than 1. This is the difference. If we put n as greater than 1, then we will get this curve. This is called as dilatant fluid. The dilatant fluid satisfies this curve. Shear stress and velocity gradient characteristics. Okay, this is the 3 types of fluids. Then again we will move towards next fluids like Bingham plastic fluid. What happens, you can take example of Colgate. We have to press for some time and after that the Colgate that paste will be eject from that toothpaste. Okay, that so we need to apply some yield shear stress here first, yield stress, and after that we will get the characteristics like this. So this is called as Bingham plastic fluid. In Bingham plastic fluid, the n value is equal to 1, but the tau equation changes as tau equal to tau y plus mu du by dy raised to n. Okay, this is only the difference, that is nothing but tau y between these 3 types of fluid and these 3 types of fluid. The tau y is only the difference. Okay, so next is thixotropic fluid, that is n less than 1, and rheopectic fluid, that is n greater than 1. Yes, so similarly what the pseudoplastic fluid and dilatant fluid, same case is here, that as n varies the curves varies. Okay, and again I will move towards some deep. This is called as ideal fluid, means there is no velocity gradient, shear stress increases but the velocity gradient is 0, so it called as ideal fluid, which is on y axis. Okay, it is called as ideal fluid. Next we will look the applications. So Newtonian fluid, what's the means which fluids are in a category of Newtonian fluid? All the gases and water, these are the example of Newtonian fluid. Okay, I will rub this part. Newtonian fluid have the examples like all the gases and water. These are the example of Newtonian fluid. Okay, then what about pseudoplastic fluid? Pseudoplastic fluid's name is also, another name is also there, that is nothing but shear thinning fluid. Okay, pseudoplastic fluid have another name, that is shear thinning fluid. You may came to have the question that will not give you the name as a pseudoplastic fluid. They may ask you that shear thinning fluid. So you should not confuse between them. Pseudoplastic fluid and shear thinning fluid, both names are of same. And the example of pseudoplastic fluids are slurries, mud, polymer solution, gum, blood. These are the examples of pseudoplastic fluid. The blood, slurry, etc. they follows the characteristics like pseudoplastic fluid. Okay, and dilatant fluid, or we called it as shear thickening fluid. Like pseudoplastic fluid is shear thinning fluid and dilatant fluid is shear thickening fluid. So you can have the proper knowledge of that. Okay, and the examples of dilatant fluid are starch, butter, sugar solution, etc. Starch, butter, sugar solution, these are the example of dilatant fluid. Okay, after that the Bingham, this Bingham plastic fluid, they also have their own name, that is nothing but ideal plastic fluid. Okay, they have another name like ideal plastic fluid. And the example of Bingham plastic fluid are sewage sludge, toothpaste, oil paint, etc. Then okay, these are the examples that I wanted to share with you. You should draw this so that you will get the proper knowledge of this. I think I will move forward now. So next topic is surface tension. Surface tension, it is denoted by sigma. And what's the main basic of this? The molecules at the surface will tend to contract between means inside, and because of that the tension occurs on the surface, that is we known as the surface tension. I am going to explain you with one image. This is liquid tank, okay, and this is the surface. What happens, any molecule at the surface have the covalent bond with this molecule, and maybe with this molecule, but any molecule which is at inside, that will have the forces in all direction, so this is neutralized. But at the molecule which is at surface, that is not neutralized, as the force here is absent. Okay, so because of that what happens, these two forces are neutralized, but these forces this force is not neutralized, so that atom tends to suck into this liquid. So because of this phenomena the surface tension occurs. Okay, this is the basic of surface tension. Property by which the fluid enables to resist tensile stress, this is the proper definition of surface tension, and the unit is Newton per meter. Newton per meter. Okay, then yes, as I said you, because of the cohesion between the molecules, the surface tension occurs. And what the formula? Sigma equal to work done upon surface area. Work done upon surface area. It is a formula of surface tension. Then which instrument is used for to measure the surface tension? We uses two instruments. One is tensiometer and another is stalagmometer. What are that? Tensiometer and stalagmometer. These two instruments we uses to calculate the surface tension. Okay, next I will move. Okay, so what happens while with the temperature? Okay, means when temperature increases, that implies surface tension decreases. means as temperature increases surface tension value decreases. This is means the surface tension is inversely proportional to temperature. As temperature increases surface tension decreases. So you should note it down because this is very basic but very important concept. And surface tension is zero at critical point. Okay, because as you noted that as temperature increases surface tension decreases, so that surface tension should have some zero value at some temperature, so that is nothing but critical point. Okay, and surface tension is zero at that critical point. That critical point value differs as per our fluid, means for water that will be different, for oil that will be different. Okay, likewise then critical point of water, again I am giving you details of critical point of water. This is very much important while solving numericals, because numericals, for solving numericals some values are there that the question paper setter will not give you directly values, that values are common, so you should know all the values. So the surface tension of water, sorry, critical point of water I was telling, critical point of water, critical point of water is 647 Kelvin and 22.06 megapascal. This is pressure and this is temperature. Okay, 647 Kelvin and 22.06 megapascal. One is temperature, another is pressure. This is the critical point of water. And on surface tension there is no pressure effect, but again for critical point we should know the pressure also of that point, because that pressure is also one of the important parameter, but directly pressure not affects to the surface tension value. Okay, so I will move forward. And surface tension leads to phenomena of capillary rise and fall. Do you know why capillary rise occur and capillary fall occur? Our next topic is capillarity, so we will move with that. But before that, you should know why that capillary action occurs. That occurs because of surface tension. Okay. Pressure intensity. Okay, so we have now three concepts, that is pressure intensity inside the droplet, pressure intensity inside the soap bubble, and pressure intensity inside the liquid jet. So first, liquid droplet. Here is one droplet. Okay, inside there is liquid and outside there is air present. So surface tension at this surface, that is sigma. So from that surface tension value we are going to calculate the pressure, and that pressure will be 4 sigma upon d. This is surface tension, this is diameter, and this is pressure intensity. And if you are not getting directly, then I will explain you by basic concept. Okay, at what diagram I have showed to you, in that what was the case, from that diagram we are going to derive this equation, and only two steps derivation is there, and that is nothing but surface tension force equal to force due to excess pressure. Means the surface tension force is because of the force due to excess pressure, that excess pressure occurs, and because of that the surface tension occurs. So surface tension force equal to force due to excess pressure. Okay, this is the basic formula for derivation of all the three cases. So what the surface tension force? It is surface tension into circumference which is equal to pressure, excess pressure into normal area. Excess pressure into normal area. Okay, if you are not getting likewise, then I will give you one. Okay, this is droplet and I have cut it from this direction. So what will happen, it will likewise, and only one layer is there because in between them there is liquid. So here will be the surface tension at both the walls which have sigma. Okay, and from this direction we will get all these parameters, like surface tension is sigma into circumference pi d. Okay, which is equal to excess pressure P into normal area pi by 4 d square. So pi will get cancelled, 1d will get cancelled, so remaining is, from this equation we get P is equal to 4 sigma upon d. Okay, so I think now it is clear to you. So you should note it down. I will move to next. Now intensity of pressure for soap bubble. Soap bubble we are taking into consideration. For soap bubble, what's the case there? Okay, as I given you that figure, I think likewise, but here what happens, that bubble means inside also air and outside also air, so we have to show it likewise. Okay, this is exactly the cross section of that soap bubble. So surface tension will be having two values, one for outer surface, one for inner surface. Okay, likewise, so this also sigma, this also sigma, so surface tension are 2, and that's the major difference between the droplet and soap bubble. So what the formula comes, P equal to 8 sigma upon d. Okay, you can check it by that derivation also, what I have given you previously. So if you have any doubt, then you can check. So I will move towards next, that I have liquid jet. Liquid jet, what the liquid jet exactly? It will be some cylindrical, likewise, maybe, if I am not wrong, this will be sigma, both, because it is only one, there is no any air inside, there is only liquid inside, so only one wall is present there, so surface tension sigma is only 1. Okay, but here is one difference, that is nothing but pressure intensity comes as 2 sigma upon d. Okay, this is the difference between all the three cases what I have given to you. So you should note it down, all the formulas, all the three formulas, because GATE may ask you one question from this. So now we are moving towards next topic, that is capillarity. What is capillarity? Capillarity means very small diameter tube we are going to immerse into liquid, and because of that immersing that tube into liquid, there may be capillary rise, means that liquid rise or fall will take place, and that we the term indicates that is nothing but capillarity. So in these two types, capillary rise and capillary fall, let me give you one diagram. Here is one tank which is fully filled of liquid. We have deep this capillary tube inside, and what happened here is capillary rise take place. Sorry, capillary rise will be likewise. Okay, means up to this point the liquid is raised into that tube, and another figure I will give. in this what will happen, the capillary fall will take place, and that will be likewise the capillary fall. Again one thing is there, that is nothing but theta. Here this is the theta, here this is the theta. So for capillary rise, theta will be always the theta will always less than 90 degree, then the capillary rise will take place. And if theta is greater than 90 degree, then capillary fall will take place. And okay, next, what happens, why this happens? Because we know the cohesive force and adhesive force. Cohesive force and adhesive force. Okay, in case of capillary fall, there is cohesive force is more as compared to adhesive force. So because of that, that molecule will not move forward into that tube. But in case of capillary rise, the adhesive forces are having more magnitude as compared to cohesive forces. The water molecules or maybe any liquid molecule will move upward in that capillary. So this is the basic of that adhesive force and cohesive force. These two forces are too much important for capillary rise and fall. Okay, so we will look some formulas of capillary rise and fall. So the height by which the capillary rise taken place or fall taken place, the formula of that is 4 sigma cos theta upon rho GD, or we can call that rho G as a gamma specific weight. Okay, so 4 sigma cos theta upon gamma d. This is diameter of capillary tube, this is theta that we know, this is surface tension. So 4 into surface tension into cos of theta divided by gamma into d, that is diameter of capillary tube. So this is the formula of height, that may be capillary rise or fall. If the rise takes place, then this value will come as positive, and if fall takes place, then this value will come as negative. So you can get directly the idea of that. Means if you know, if you don't know the capillary rise is going to take place or fall is going to take place, just put the values in between this equation, and if the value comes positive, then the capillary rise is there, and if the value comes negative, then capillary fall is there, as it is. Very simple. Okay, this is for the capillary tube. Okay, but again there is one case maybe happen that two plates are there, two plates we have placed, and in between the gap of that place the capillary rise or fall take place. So for that the different formula is there. So that height will be 2 sigma cos theta upon gamma t, that is thickness, or we can see the gap between that two parallel plates. This is surface tension and this is theta, that you know. Okay, so these are this is the equation for two parallel plates, two parallel plates. Okay, this is the equation for two parallel plates, and the previous equation was for the tube, diametral tube. Okay, and one another formula is also there, that is capillary rise for in between the annular space. Means what is there, two concentric cylinders are there likewise. Okay, and in between these, this is the gap, so this gap may be filled by that liquid. So for this there is another equation, that is H equal to again 2 sigma cos theta upon gamma into Rho minus Ri. Okay, this is also same, only in place of T we are going to place Rho minus Ri, and that is the case that this is the gap. So that gap value is Rho minus Ri, that's why we are putting. Okay, as simple as that. So another point I am moving, that is nothing but compressibility. Compressibility is nothing but measurement of elasticity, we can say. Okay, the very basic definition of compressibility is nothing but measurement of elasticity. Means we are going to measure the elasticity of material. That material is going to compress, means that have higher elasticity. Likewise, okay, this is called as compressibility. So we have change in pressure is directly proportional to minus of dV by V. This is volume. Okay, change in pressure is directly proportional to minus of dV by V. This is the equation for compressibility, and for removing this constant of proportionality, the dP will equal to K into minus dV by V, and this K is nothing but bulk modulus of elasticity. Okay, so that K value is nothing but bulk modulus of elasticity. As simple as that. This is also very simple. So what exactly bulk modulus and what's the unit of that bulk modulus? Bulk modulus, that is nothing but K. So K will come as dP upon minus of dV by V. Okay, or we know that is nothing but rho is equal to mass per unit volume. Okay, so from that we can get the equation as K is equal to dP by d rho by rho. Okay, only the negative sign is changed to positive sign, because what happens, as volume is going to decrease, the density is going to increase. Okay, this is the basics behind why this negative sign is converted into positive sign, because as volume is going to decrease, we are going to compress that liquid. Okay, so ultimately volume is going to decrease, but the density is going to increase. Density's unit is kg per meter cube and volume's unit is meter cube. So you can get the idea from that. Okay, so we can have this equation of K also. And yes, so what's the case between K and compressibility? Okay, as K increases, compressibility decreases, because we have that formula dP equal to K into minus dV by V, and this is the compressibility. So compressibility and K both are inversely proportional. That's why as K increases, compressibility decreases. This is the basic of that. I am explaining you all the concepts from very basic manner. So I think you should clear all the things. And if you are not getting clear all the things, then you can comment me and you can ask me the doubts. So I can clear you all the doubts of your. Okay, so all the content I have covered from today's lecture. So now I will move towards bonus points. As you know, at the last of every lecture I comes up with some bonus points for you, so that you will get the proper values while solving the numericals, the common values. Like I have the value of surface tension for water air interface, that is nothing but 0.073 Newton per meter. Okay, for water air interface, this is this interface is very common. Any numerical can have this interface, so that's why you should know the value of surface tension of water air interface. That's why I am giving you this value. Okay, next value is surface tension of air and mercury interface. This is also too much common, because as you know we are using as mercury have a higher density, that is 13600, in number of applications we uses the mercury also. So we should know the value of sigma of air mercury interface also. Okay, so that value is 0.480 Newton per meter. Okay, you should note it down all the values. Then I will give you another sigma, that is soap solution and air interface. Soap solution and air, this is also common, that soap solution and air interface is there. So what the sigma value, what the surface tension at that interface, so we should know that value, and that value is 0.025 Newton per meter. So you should know this value also. Now I will give you some values of bulk modulus. Okay, please all note these all values, because these all values are too much important for numerical solving, as I will going to take some numericals also in some next lectures. So K of water 2.05 into 10 raised to 9 Newton per meter square. Okay, this is the bulk modulus of water. And next is K of air, that is 1.03 into 10 raised to 5 Newton per meter square. Okay, so you can see the difference between the K value of air and K value of water, and that's why water is not compressible fluid and air is compressible fluid. This is because of the K value of water is too much higher as compared to K value of air. Okay, so you can always think likewise, so that you will get clear all the basics. Again I have some another bonus point, that is nothing but the pure water and glass. For pure water and glass, okay, for pure water and glass, theta value is 0 degree Celsius, sorry, only 0 degree. And this is for capillary. Okay, what we have seen in capillarity, that capillary rise and fall takes place, and for that we need the value of theta. So if there is pure water and glass interface, then there will be theta value 0, means the capillary rise and fall both phenomena will not take place, the height will be equal to 0. Okay, yes, and for mercury and glass, for mercury and glass, that theta angle is equal to 140 degrees Celsius, 140 degrees. So again this is greater than 90 degree. So ultimately what will happen, as it is greater than 90 degree, so capillary fall will take place. Okay, so that mercury will not move upward in that glass capillary tube. This is these are the some points that I have taken for today's lecture, and these are some bonus points that I have taken for today's session. Okay, so I have cleared all the concepts as I have noted for today's lecture. Please like, share and subscribe my channel, and if you enjoyed my session, then please let me know in my comment box, so that I will make videos likewise. If you have any doubt, then you can comment me, so that I will give you answer of that doubt. थैंक यू सो मच, मिलते हैं अगले वीडियो में.